Hi, welcome to Write More Light. My name's Sarah. I'm with the Midwest Writing Center, and today we are going to talk about low residency grad programs. If you're unfamiliar with this series, Write More Light, what we do is once a week, I will interview someone who's doing something awesome in the arts and has some wisdom to share or just coolness to share. Probably both, probably both. And once a week, I give a teeny tiny writing lesson. Today's a little different because it's related to writing, but it is not a writing lesson. And it's just me solo. I have talked to a few people who are willing to, who work within these programs or direct these programs, who are willing to share about it. But I wanted to make sure that like this wasn't a biased approach or a biased video that's saying, hey, check out this program. So that's why it's just going to be me. It's just going to be 101. I'm going to do my best to not talk about, well, I don't I don't have bad things to say about anyone, which is great. I'm going to do my best to just not talk about any specific programs until we get to a time where that's necessary. I got a bug bite, one of those minute pirate bugs, no-see-ums right here a minute ago because I was working on this outside. So if I keep touching my neck, that's why. Again, so if you are new to watching Write More Light, I'm going to give this little talk. Then we're going to do updates from the Midwest Writing Center and, excuse me, and then a writing prompt. Writing prompt usually, but does not always have anything to do with, or have something to do with the topic of the day. So let's get into it. Low residency MFA programs are, well, let's rewind. What's an MFA program? An MFA program is the terminal degree in the arts fields. So that's fine arts. It's Masters of Fine Arts. Um, Terminal degree means you are the highest expert you can get. That's not technical language there, of course. But the PhD is the terminal degree in other fields. It requires fun when I don't know the words. It requires fresh research and you have to choose your thing and really work it out, do the research, make a name for yourself, work with all the experts, work with the um primary sources in the arts. Um, the Masters in Fine Arts means doing that, but with the arts. And sometimes there's not, the research doesn't look the same. It's about creating rather than, I don't want to keep saying researching. Um, anyway, so if someone has an MFA, they've done all the education in the arts that is um, generally looked at. There are very few places where you can get a PhD in fine arts, and I will not be talking about that because I don't know a ton about it. I am um, I'm currently enrolled in an MFA program, and the first question, the most common question, the most annoying question. Sorry if not sorry. For folks who have asked me that. Not sorry. Um, the most common question I've gotten is, why are you doing this program? And I think for me, I'm in a special position where I engage with the arts all the time. I do arts research all the time. I get to meet writers and learn from writers, and I'm always actively taking classes. Um, and so people assume that I'm doing it because I want to be a professor. And that is a reason to get a terminal degree. If you want to be in academia or if you want to be a professor, those are reasons to get terminal degrees. Um, the other question, which comes out of that for us in the arts, is are they necessary? And that I cannot answer. Cannot answer that question for anyone. They are necessary if you want to be a professor. Um, that's not my end goal personally. I wanted to focus my everything on being a writer, and this was an opportunity to do that. Um, and that's it. I want to be a better writer. I want to give myself the opportunity to focus on my writing, period. What you get out of them, I think, is probably what you give to them. That's really driving me nuts. So that's really, your mileage may vary. I I mean, you know, if you've seen this show before, if you've interacted with me at an event, you know that I get so much about interacting with the arts. So, of course, I'm going to be just over the moon to be able to invest my whole self on it. I feel like I'm getting a lot out of it. Really depends on the person. Um, okay. I spent a lot of time and research um, deciding to go to grad school and a lot of time and research. I mean, like a year of consistently looking into it. Um, First to decide if I wanted one, and then to decide what kind of program, and then to decide where to apply. So, that is something I can help you with. Um, if you decide to go to grad school, I can't really, coach you about the decisions you're making for your career or for yourself as an artist or, the financial components. I know I wanted to do it to be better, and I'm happy with that decision. Um, I did eventually decide to go to a low residency program. Um, and I will talk about how to do the kind of research into grad programs in general in another video. Didn't occur to me before this one because I hear people ask all the time what a low res program is and why people do them. And so I was like, clearly I should make a video on this because I can talk about it. But it didn't occur to me to do before that. Yeah. So let's dig in. What is a low residency program? I'm going to do as little comparison as possible to a traditional program, but it will come up. There'll be things that come up. Broad strokes, most of them. This is going to be something I say consistently is when I'm talking about these things, it's most low res programs. Okay. Mostly they meet twice a year for between 1 and 2 weeks. Some of them meet for 10 days. Um, there are a lot of different in-person formats. So when I say they meet, I mean in person. There are a lot of different in-person formats. Some have the whole residency at a hotel or like a resort place, like a place where you might have like a big work conference. Um, some of them have everyone lodged together and they like have a block of rooms. And then they have classes at the school where you're going. Some don't provide lodging. None of these are consistent really across the board. The thing is that you're probably going to be meeting when regular school is not in session. So that's a huge consideration for the way the lodging works with these places. Um, because these places need to have classrooms available to teach their classes. They need to have the school resources available to hold these programs. So a lot of them are like, okay, we're going to do it in the summer, we're going to do it in the winter, or something to that effect. Like during regular school breaks, you get a winter break, you get a summer break. Some of them are like around, this is obviously US based. I know of like one um Europe based program, have not looked into programs in other countries really at all. I came across the one in Europe. Um, and partially, well, we'll cover that later, but it's a lot about faculty and the writers I know and love the most tend to be American. That's where I live. That's the work I engage with the most. Anyway, um, so most of the time you're going to be meeting in a time when regular school is not in session. Not universal, but that's just so they can provide the classroom space and the lodging. Um, yeah. I already said that. Um, your low res program is going to be part of a university. So, um, if it's not, that's weird. So yeah, campus has to be accessible and not like overbooked and not super busy. Like if they did it in early fall when like the undergrads are coming back to school and the grad students are coming back to school, the traditional grad students are coming back to school, then there would be tons of events going on. Yeah. Um, there are a lot of programs that meet on campus once a year, probably in summer, but I can't say that for sure. And then off campus once a year, they go to like a retreat center or they go abroad. Um, really, the formatting of the in-person stuff varies really, really wildly, but mostly twice a year, mostly between a week and 2 weeks. Some a little more, some only once a year. Generally speaking, if you meet less often, you'll meet for more days. And I didn't include this in my notes, but some programs you will be meeting from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Some programs even longer. Some programs it'll be 9 to 5. Some programs it'll be the evening is optional. Sometimes there'll be social events as part of it. Sometimes there'll be meal breaks. I think mostly food is provided by them. I can't think of any that I researched that didn't say it's lunchtime, we'll have lunch together. It's breakfast time, we'll have breakfast together. And if they make you go late into the night, I hope they're feeding you dinner. Um, yeah, okay. So again, this is broad strokes. You're going to have your classes and workshopping in person, and you're going to do your homework from home. Um, that's pretty broad, but I hope pretty clear. So you go to this place for a week, 10 days, 2 weeks, and you have classes every single day. You might have a day off in the middle, you might not. Um, you might have like a short day or a couple short days. Anyway, you go there and you have class pretty much all day, pretty much every day for the duration of your residency. Then you're getting assignments at that time. You're meeting your mentor. I'll get to mentors later. At that time, you're figuring out your focus at that time. You're generating new work. You're learning about craft. You're learning about reading. You're reading a lot. For those programs that are like 12-hour days, I don't know when they're reading. That's crazy to me. Maybe there's built-in reading time. Now, a lot of people love this format, this I have class for 2 weeks and then I do my homework at home for the following reasons. First reason is you have more time concentrated on your assignments and your specific focus um, when you have that time dedicated, right? My notes were really confusing with that bullet point, but um, when you spend, say, 3 months, I think that's how long a quarter is, a semester is. You have 3 months to just work on your project. And that's a lot of time dedicated to that. And then when you turn in your work to your mentor, again, we'll get to mentors in a moment. They're specifically focused on you for whatever, like 30 pages or whatever it is you're turning in. Um, you also have more concentrated classroom time when you're in class. So you're really focused on that learning part. I think it's all learning, so it's kind of complicated to say that, but you're really focused on classroom time when you're in class because um these are really rigorous residencies, or they're supposed to be. Um, so you're in class, you're focused on the assignments in class, whatever that means, and your classmates and your workshopping, and it's all class all the time. And so that means that you can just focus on these two separate things, if that's what you want. Um, Another thing that people really love about low residency programs and the class is class and home is home part is that people don't have to uproot their lives for a low residency program. Um, People with kids and careers and roots in their location probably don't want to move for 2 or 3 years or cannot. Um, so you can hypothetically keep your regular job, don't have to move. If you're caring for a family member or um, a farm or a business or whatever, your life can and your life routine can basically stay the same. And along with that, these programs, something that they tout all the time is that the benefit of this kind of program is it teaches you how to make writing part of your regular daily life. Um, because it now has to fit into your regular daily life. A lot of folks that I know still have their full-time job, still be weird if they didn't still have their children, but they are then doing their homework at the same time that they're living their life. And that teaches them to create a routine around being a writer if they're prioritizing being a writer. Um, Personally, I don't know how they do that. I don't know how anyone keeps a full-time job while they're in grad school or undergrad, really. But I think that's a lot more common that people work full-time in undergrad for whatever reason. Um, I cut down. Um, I had I had two jobs and one was a lot of hours. And now I'm only at the writing center because I want my whole world to be writing. And if you've ever talked to me in person, you know that I am like, oh yes, hello, I am in person. I am very busy. So while I do absolutely prioritize my writing, um, it keeps me really busy. So I don't know. I think that those people who have full-time jobs and do grad school are made of lots of small miracles. A major drawback to this format, this um, class is in person and homework is at home, and you meet only twice a year format. Major drawback for me is as someone who loves being in class, me, I love being in class. There's a lot less classroom time. So there's a lot less interaction with my classmates and a lot less instruction. Now, I think technically that's not true. Like it's so concentrated um, that I might be getting the exact same amount of classroom time, maybe even really close to the same amount of workshop time, but it's not every day. It's not part of my daily life. And I really wish I was in the classroom all the time. So that's actually my only complaint, which is pretty cool to only have the one complaint. Um, some programs, including the one I go to, have figured out other ways to connect students with one another and to instruction during that semester from home time. Um, a lot of the time that's online. You've got online classes or online meetups. Um, some places meet more often, like voluntarily for smaller things. Um, Being me, I'm already engaged with a lot of writing events, a lot of writing classes, a lot of writers. Um, but I'm not necessarily connected with my cohort. And I mean, I am because I'm me. Um, but not everyone can say that, and that's kind of a bummer for me. I want to always see what everyone's up to. I want to always be engaging with folks who know my work. I want to be engaging with folks whose work I'm invested in, and I do get to be, but these people are going through an experience with me, and so that does make it special. And in a traditional program, people get to be together all the time. So that leads me to um you need to be self-motivated to be in an arts program no matter what. But I think especially in this kind of program, because you don't have, class twice a week. You don't have a deadline twice a week. You have a deadline once a month. I think once a month is pretty standard. Um, I'm personally really, really responsive to deadlines, and I'm always going to classes, but that's the type of thing, getting an arts degree is the type of thing that one does for themselves, period. There's not another reason to do it. Um, So you have to be really invested in doing that and showing up for yourself for this thing. I think it's a massive luxury being in a arts grad program. And I can't take it for granted. I can't. It's the greatest gift I'm ever going to give myself. So I'm really on myself um to show up in these ways, but that's not true of everyone. Um, which is fine. It's just you have to know before you invest like that. Um, and part of that is that work from home bit, which I'll talk about the work from home bit. While you're at home for 3 months or whatever, your grad program will match you with a professor who will act like a mentor. I'm not actually sure if that's the word people use, but it's the one that I've been using throughout this time we have together here on Write More Light. Um, the mentor will probably change each semester until you're toward the end of your degree, at which point, as far as I know, every program will eventually let you choose who you want to work with and repeat when you're toward the end of your program, because then you know whose work, or I mean, who you work with really well, who really gets you, um, who you most respond to. Presumably, you can also continue to work with new folks. Personally, I think it's really important to work with as many different people as possible. Maybe not at the end when you're looking for someone to like look over your manuscript who already knows it. But I think it's important to work with as many different folks as possible to get as much to get a broader perspective, to get more insight, to get different kinds of education. That's just like a life thing for me. Um, but that's also why choosing a program with faculty you love, admire, respect is so important, which is true of all grad programs. Um, and I would say probably even undergrad, but that's just a bigger kettle of fish, and I'm not here to talk about undergrad. Um, because you will work really closely in an arts program with your mentor for several months. And because it's art, it'll be vulnerable. It just will be, especially like it doesn't really matter what you're writing. Like if you're writing something that you don't think is vulnerable, you're I mean it's art. You're putting yourself into it and somebody's seeing it. Like somebody's going through it with a real fine-tooth comb to find you, to find your style, to support you, to find places where you missed something or places where you did something really magical and could zhuzh that up. Um, so having faculty that matters to you from jump is a big deal. Um, I think I'll also talk about researching that at another time. The faculty thing is what we'll call it. Um, funding. These programs tend to never have full funding. That's not universally true, but mostly. They sometimes, but not always, have like GATA RA positions. That's graduate assistant, teaching assistant, research assistant. Those tend to be jobs that pay in tuition. They pay you by cutting your tuition. Sometimes they pay. Um, some of it depends on the program. It depends on how much space is available in those positions. Some have literary magazines or marketing positions. Some will give you some like tuition discounts for um, doing relevant work on your own. Really depends on the program, and I recommend asking that. We'll come back to that. I didn't put, but I'm going to add a section here under research. Got a research section. Um, talk to someone at the program. Okay. I'm sure I did put that down, but that's going to be my note for myself. Um, yeah, so you're going to want to ask at the program, like you start narrowing your list down, or maybe that's like the top thing on your list. You want to have a TA ship. I don't know your priorities. Transportation. I have to drive or fly to my program. It's a 12-hour drive. And one of the things I looked at when I was deciding on programs was whether it was drivable. That's important to me in case of emergencies or like winter happens. Um, I have, obligations at home, which is another reason a low residency program could appeal to someone. Um, if you have student loans, that does count as an education expense. Now, faculty is the next header. I'll always say, no matter what in higher ed, no matter what kind of higher ed you're looking at, the faculty probably matters the most. Um, I mean, for me, that's true. Some programs have specific curriculum or specialties or rigor. Like there's a couple of schools I can think of. Marlborough College and Evergreen State University. Those are both on different coasts. I have no idea about their grad programs at either one. Maybe they have them, maybe they don't. Um, but they don't give grades at those programs. Instead, teachers fill out like a really thorough description of your performance in the class. Um, some programs have like really well-respected literary magazines, and you're like, I love that magazine. That has been my favorite. I've had a subscription. I dream of being published in it. I want to work on that magazine. So maybe that's the thing that moves you. Or like maybe they have a really good like conference that they host and you want to be part of that conference. Um, so if those are other things to consider um beyond faculty, but you want you want to learn from an expert. And it's art. So you know what your taste is. I'm going to talk about this under research. Um, Faculty is in the end how I decided on the program I wanted to go to. I did narrow it to three programs initially. Every MFA program is going to have stellar faculty. That's just, they have to. They have to. Um, but a cool thing about low residency programs is they tend to have more faculty because it's also sort of an easier position for the faculty to hold while they have another job, while they're being a writer, while they're teaching at another school, because of that format. They also are putting aside the time the same way that you are, either to teach for 2 weeks or whatever, or to be your mentor during the writing times. Um, so if there's a program, again, this goes back into research, um, that has two or more of your favorite writers, consider that place. And that goes for any kind of program. Here's some things about researching, and I apologize to you. I made a spreadsheet, and I'm not a spreadsheet girly, and organized it by preferences for a program. And I deleted the spreadsheet, which seems really uncharacteristic, but I was going to share it with you. I went to like, yeah, I went to go through it and share it. And I even had like I knew I had deleted things as they became like not interesting to me, but I still would have had all the headers for the spreadsheet. I'm really bummed about this. I was excited to show you, but I also had a special notebook dedicated to this. Um, um, yeah, so I will just read this to you, I guess. Um, Instead of showing you. Uh, yeah, okay. So notes I took for one specific program was this one has 1 week residencies, 5 residencies total. Average age, I don't know why I wrote that down. Average age of students 44. They have special programs about how to continue being a writer in your real life. They have 4 semesters and a graduate residency. You can do two genres. That was really important to me to not have to choose a genre, and that's not true of a lot of programs. Um, you can take a semester off with no penalties. That could matter if there's an emergency and you have to take time off, and then they're like, "Well, sucks. You have to start over in the program, or you have to leave the program, or whatever." Um, some programs, this is not super common. You can also get a regular master's degree simultaneously. You can with this one. Um, and you don't have to fill out two applications to do it. Something I asked, which I think is a good question to ask, is what kind of workshop method they use. And that's important to me. I think I've talked about workshopping and workshop methods before. If not, there's definitely another video for me to make. I have a lot of feelings about workshop methods, workshop styles, so that's a question I asked or researched. Um, this place appears to have three residencies. I think they have two, and I took weird notes. I don't know how you have three residencies uh, and only go to five, but then you'd be done in. Okay. So this one has a cool thing where each residency, they have a different focus where everyone has to go to a lecture on a specific like genre concentration. I think that's pretty neat. Because I think studying outside of your comfort zone, writing outside of your comfort zone, reading outside of your comfort zone is um really, really cool. Um, they do 6 months of independent study where you exchange 5 packets with a mentor. I don't really know what that means. Oh, I see. You can do it either in 6 month chunks or in 9 month chunks. That's what that means. Then they had other things that folks could opt into, like so like things on publishing business, stuff like that. Um, or agenting, marketing, pitching, um, adapting for screen or play, or taking classes in playwriting. Um, this one um has everyone stay in a hotel together, and that is not part of your tuition. You have to pay that separately. Again, that should be covered by student loans if you're in that position. Um, you have the option to audit other residencies, which I think is very, very cool. This reminds me of something I noticed as I was doing this. A lot of these programs have if you if you do interview them or go to an info session or whatever, not interview them, but interview them, you talk to someone there, they will waive the application fee. I didn't know that going into it. I just noticed it. Um, here's not super organized notebook. Spreadsheet was better. Um 10-day residencies with a day off in the middle to like recuperate or explore or do homework. Um, 5 to 10 student cohorts. You can do two genres. Residency formatting tends to be working on new work with your cohort, then lunch, then lectures. Um, there are seminars, mid-semester meetups. Um, I wrote financial aid asterisk exists. Um, this one seems to have a career counseling. Talked about what each semester is on. How the some of the stuff is like really specific, so I'm not trying to get too specific. Um, here's another. Um, this one has a relationship with a press. Um, this one does study abroad for 1 semester. Um, this one says 2 genres, but one is your focus. This one had a lot of genre options. That's pretty rare. And if you're somebody who wants to specialize in something like comics or playwriting or children's writing, look for a program or at least talk to the people at the program and ask about it. I know a lot of people who have chosen a program because they allow the specialty that they want, like one of those genres that I just listed, and then it's just not very developed, or they only have one faculty member who specializes in it. But there are programs that will specialize in the thing that you're looking for. Um, Other things to research, like I said, talk to someone in the program. I would recommend if you're a spreadsheet girly or if you can stomach doing a spreadsheet, which I did, um, do it. Write down all the questions you want to know the answers to. I didn't save mine. And journal about a lot of this notebook is journaling about each program after doing research and then after talking to someone at the program. Um, so think about what do you want from a program, or journal about what do you want from a program. What is your writing genre or form, and what and where do you want to grow in that area? Who are your favorite writers? But also slash more importantly, why are they your favorite writers? How far are you willing to travel? How often? For how long? What are their alum up to? How long has the program existed? And that combo question, the program I'm in is relatively new and has more than 2 times the book publications than the years they've been going. And it has a small class size. So that seems really good to me. Um, I know the program that is the oldest in the country has the most publications, but I don't know like the ratio of publication to student, right? Um, Maybe no one does, but it's worth looking at. How big is the program? This information is harder to come by. Um, you'll probably have to ask them directly, but if it matters to you, you should look into it. Some of them have 50 students in a class and some have 6. You might look into faculty to student ratio. Do they offer industry connections? Does that matter to you? Um, what do they specialize in? What are their special programs? All of them should give you, maybe not like on their website, but definitely if you talk to someone or just email them, they will give you a sample residency schedule. That might not matter to you. It doesn't matter to me much, but I looked at it and some of them are like I said, 12-hour days, which I was fine with. I don't think I didn't end up in a 12-hour day program. I think it would be really exhausting, like unbelievably exhausting. But I was like, yeah, more education. Um, and then this is kind of like a secret one. How likely are you to work with the writer you're excited about? So say your favorite writer, period. You can spit out all the reasons they're your favorite and why you specifically want to learn from them. They work at this program. So you're like, I want to go there. Ask how often they take mentors or take mentees. Ask how often they are at the residencies because it could be that they're there every single residency, every single semester. They they mentor students, they teach classes. And it could be that they're at a residency every 2 years. You got to find out. There's a program I was looking at. I didn't make my short list that kept advertising this one really famous writer teaches there. And yeah, that was interesting to me. I don't remember if that writer, if they were like, we guarantee this writer will be there on campus during your residency, or if it was just like, look how famous people who work here are. But that's something to look into. Applying to these programs is pretty much the same as applying to any MFA program. You'll write some sort of critical analysis of a piece of writing that you love. You'll write some kind of entrance essay about why you want the degree and why you want that program. They'll probably ask for transcripts, but I can't imagine it matters much because, well, for one thing, I was not the greatest student in undergrad. But also, craft is totally different from, the grades I got in my gen ed classes, right? Um, GRE is unlikely, but some places still want your GREs. So look into that. Um, yeah, I'm sure I left some things out. I'm really frustrated about that. As far as like what to research, I do, which you probably know, highly recommend um, journaling about journaling about the topics, especially as you decide whether or not you want to go to grad school. Then once you know what kind of grad program you want to go to, or journaling to figure out what kind of grad program you want to go to. Um, I find it really useful in, finding out what I'm thinking. Maybe you don't. Some people don't. Um, but whatever it is that helps you figure out your own preferences and priorities and thought processes, do that. Um, please drop a comment or email me or DM me if I left something out or if you have any questions or if, I don't know, other things. I wonder, let's just make it more, make it more. Um, I was gonna see if maybe I wrote down my list of questions. I did logistics here. I did financial math. Um, oh, another thing that I did this at one place, but you can do it anywhere. You can ask to speak to a faculty member, you can ask to speak to a student, you can ask to speak to an alum. Some places are really, really proud of their alum programs or alum networks. So that's yeah, that's worth knowing. Um, I also wrote down here, ask for assistantships. They might not be competitive, especially low residency pro. I mean, you should do that in any program, ask for an assistantship if you want one. But they might not be competitive because it's often people who are really established in their life who are in low res programs. Here's questions I wrote down for to interview somebody at a program. Are there opportunities to engage with, or what opportunities are there to engage with other programs? How many writing samples? Oh, probably for an application. Do you send in for dual genre? Um, are there opportunities for assistantships or other tuition support? Are there any professional development opportunities for, it says for publishing, but I don't know what I meant by that, to be honest. Um, what are your favorite things about your program? And program pedagogy, man, I was highfalutin. Um, some separate cohorts by their entrance into a program. Some do it by genre. Yeah, I was already like, and this video is over, and then I just keep talking. Okay, here. This one says grad school priorities. Thanks for waiting for me. Professional development, agent meetings, publishing education, pedagogy. That's why I'm highfalutin. Faculty, work study assistantship, money stuff. What do I want after grad school? I want a book. Oh, all these programs will focus on getting you a book. Like your book will be finished. Um, and the rest of this is journaling and it's like kind of personal. Um, so I'm not gonna share that right now. Um, I have a bunch of writing prompts here. I must have been doing some kind of challenge. Um, okay. Yeah, so let me know if there were things I left out, or things you want to know. and I will get back to you. I've obviously come up with a few new, oh, don't have my planner on me, a few new topics for new videos. So you can also let me know if there are new videos that you want to engage with. And now we will go to the part of the video where I talk about updates from the Midwest Writing Center, and then we will do your prompt, a prompt. So this weekend, Saturday, the 10th of May, 2025. We have so much going on. First, writer regroup, our writing group where you get together, hang out with writers, do some writing, maybe a little chit chat. We'll meet from 11 to 1 at Coffee House in the Village of East Davenport. We will be at the Putnam doing poems on demand for Putnam Palooza from 10 to 4, I think. And then, because that's an all day event and all night, I think we're there from 10 to 4. And then also we're at the Boozy Book Fair at Wake Brewing, hosted by the Macabre Librarian. I think that's in Rock Island, and that's from 12 to 4. There'll be a lot of really cool things going on at all of these events. So technically you could go to all of them. But yeah, look into them. They're going to be really, really awesome. We're starting, we'll be premiering interviews with the faculty for the Collins Writers Conference, which is June 26th through 28th. I'll be posting interviews with the faculty here soon. We're also premiering book clubs for the faculty. Each of them is an author. So you will be able to engage with a book club about or with whatever books you're excited about. I think it's because I always read all the books and then I always tell you about them. And I'm always really excited to meet the faculty. And then I think it would be really cool if other people were excited to meet the faculty in advance. So we've got Rebecca Entel is teaching on novel writing. So we'll be reading her book, which I have on me. Actually, I think I have all of these people's books already. No, I do. But I don't have the book club book for the short story author. I have a different book by him. Um, Rebecca Entel's Fingerprints of Previous Owners is the novel. Brett Biebel, who's a professor at Augustana, she's a professor too, I think at Cornell, in Iowa. I might have that wrong. Brett Biebel's Gridlock will be the short fiction book that we're reading. Skylar Alexander's Searching for Petco is the poetry book. And then Chicago House Music is Marguerite L. Harold's creative nonfiction. There's only 2 dates for the book clubs, May 28th and June 5th. Flip through my planner. Yes, I'm correct. This book is available for $11. Sticker price is $16, so that's cool. Limited space in the book clubs, but also the more the merrier. We have 10 copies, 9 copies. This one's mine. Information on the book club will be up very soon, but again, you can just hit me up if you want that information. What else do we have going on? You know what? That's everything is all YEW internship and conference prep right now. So YEW, the Young Emerging Writers Internship Program, deadline to apply is next Monday, May 12th. Totally. It's a paid internship program for writers 15 to 19 years old who want to engage with other writers their age, who want to get to know the workshopping process, who want to read new things and write new things, like new styles, new concepts, and get published and publish a whole book. So that's what I've got for upcoming events. Check out conference stuff. Tell the teens in your life about the internship. And now I will get you to your writing prompt. So not a very exciting one today, but relevant to, I mean, it's very exciting, but relevant to the subject. So however this comes out, poem, journal, essay, fiction, or just let it come out. So set yourself a 5-minute, 10-minute timer and write on writer dreams. As always, thanks for hanging out with me, and please write more light into your life.